Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Talk Scottish Football episode number, I don't even know what we're on because everything's just been sort of taken over by the...
Should we just go episode 1, mate?
Season 3, episode 1, technically.
We're at G4 Claims HQ.
Yes.
Yes, we are. They've very kindly sponsored the podcast and they've sorted us out with this absolute... beautiful studio,
mate. This is crazy. We can hear ourselves through the headphones.
That is very weird.
It's magical. It's on it. This is everything I've ever dreamed of. I'm sitting here with the wee machine here to monitor all the sound. You're sitting there with the cameras and the lights all set up. We've got Stefan in the producing role. This is just amazing. This.
I know.
Are we automatically like the best podcast in Scottish football now?
Calm down. Come on. I'm gonna go bold.
I'm gonna go bold. Paella.
Bruno Fernandes.
Portugal out of the Euros.
They are indeed.
Because they never played Nuno Mendes.
No, because they didn't play Renato Sanches. Renato Sanchez, what a player, honestly. Like, I tweeted it out the other day, this guy is as good as anybody on his day. He's just so entertaining. He's like a throwback. He's powerful, fast, technically good. Like, I know that we're not going to be talking really much about the Euros. We're getting right back into the best leagues in the world. But... he done things to me, so he did. See, when he turned N'Golo Kante in the France game and then he turned Kevin De Bruyne in the Belgium, I'm like, this guy's very good at football.
Very good at football.
Yes.
Very good. Well, look, let's quickly open the show by talking a wee bit, just very briefly, about the Euros. Scotland are, of course, out the Euros. Calum, for you, has that made a difference to the tournament? You still enjoying it? Is it sad? Now, looking at how the Czech Republic are doing, Croatia gave Spain a good go yesterday. Is it disappointing that Scotland never went as far, or is it just now highlighting how good these teams were that they were playing?
No, I think it's definitely showing now the level they're at in latter stages. I think also it's disappointing Scotland been out, but I still think an international tournament during the summer is unbelievable. It's that extra something. You're not sitting those 6 weeks bored, nothing's on, there's nothing on the telly, there's no sport, nothing.
Aye.
So I'm still enjoying it just as much.
Oh, it's been class, I think. Aye, it's been, but David put up a tweet last night. I know David's still up in the Highlands. Hi, David. You're missing out in this brilliant studio, by the way. He put up a tweet yesterday. He's like, about time this tournament came to life. I was like, I don't know what he's been watching, but I've been loving it.
There has been some games, though,
There's been a couple of stinkers, but there always is.
There always is. There's always going to be. There was 3 matches a day to begin with. You're always going to get a wee stinker, aren't you? Especially when like your team's not involved. You're more inclined to scroll through the old Twitter as the game is going on, aren't you? But
I seen a tweet about that. I can't remember who put it up, but somebody put up a tweet like, football is really just... I think it was Jack, mate, actually. He put up a tweet. It was like, football really is just sitting on your phone and looking up when the commentator gets excited.
Jack, mate, was getting it stinking as well, though, wasn't he, on Twitter off the Scots? But I think he was just going along with it, wasn't he? He was just throwing a couple of baits out there.
He's a wind-up merchant.
He is indeed.
I mean, remember back in the day, do you remember, like, he was, I think it was a few years ago, he was going on about how Celtic was a tin pot club or something.
I think I remember vaguely.
Christ. I mean, you've got to do what you've got to do.
They love it, don't you? That's why in seeing the Scotland-England game, I really wanted Nisbet to score the winner, because he's a Farmers League player. Do you know what I mean? I didn't want it to be one of your big names.
Again, no.
See, when Nisbet came off, I really wanted it to be him to score the winner, but it wasn't to be in that occasion, but... we were still able to hold them, wasn't it?
Well, look, before we move on, finally, France are out the competition. My sweepstake team is gone. I can't believe I thought I was guaranteed to win 170 quid. I'm actually raging.
Well, you said after you drew France, you were like, I'm going to win something, because surely France can't finish out with third. Step up Kylian Mbappe, by the way.
Oh my God, I'm right, yeah.
And obviously the football's on the night as well. England are playing Germany, which is an absolute huge game. However, we don't know what the result of that is going to be. This podcast will be out on Wednesday, so we could...
Well, I've got my Germany top on underneath this, so there's only one way. I hope it goes...
I've got my England boxer shorts on.
Oh, dear. It's a man shaft, yeah. Calum, you had France to win the whole thing, didn't you?
I did. I think good. I'd backed them 2016. Obviously, fell short the final. Backed them for the World Cup, so I thought, surely, you look at the team they had as well. You know, how does Andy beat that? I mean, obviously, Switzerland done so last night, but... it's a bit disappointing.
Have you got any new team now? This question to end off the Euro discussion, from what you have seen so far, and we spoke about this, I think it was a live show we done before the Croatia game, we were talking about who's like impressed you, we done those kind of 4 quick fire questions. I'll just do this one question only. If you were to pick a team who's left in the competition right now to win it, who is it going to be?
I'm stuck between Belgium and Italy for me. They've been very good. They've been very good. And I put a tweet up last night, but surely it's Belgium's tournament to lose now.
Belgium are good.
I was looking at it yesterday, like the odds to win outright, and it's crazy. Like Spain have went into being the favourites now.
Are they?
Spain are the favourites, the bookies' favourites. I think England are 4 or 5 to 1 at the moment.
Do you know
Germany are actually behind them, which I'm surprised at, because I think Germany are the favourites going into the England game. But again, we'll need to wait and see what happens.
Have you seen England's possible route if they win tonight?
Yeah, it's very good.
England should be in the final if they win tonight.
However, what I will say is to answer that question, I would absolutely love to see Denmark win the whole thing, because they've got the Czech Republic in the quarter-final. Mm-hmm. You would imagine that's a game that they could win, and then they're into semi-finals, you're one game away for the final. You know, it could be a repeat in 1992, wasn't it?
Aye, 92.
When there was a big strapping gentleman on the wing for them. Listen, that could happen again. Denmark, they're just coming into their own now, aren't they?
Aye.
And you can forgive them for their first couple of performances because of the circumstances, but in the third game, tantalising, and then the knockout game, unbelievable. Just absolutely put Wales to the side, and now they've got the Czech Republic, who obviously can't believe they're as well.
No, I know.
Do you know what I mean? It's mad to think that if we'd started Che Adams, Nathan Patterson and Billy Gilmore, we'd been in the quarter-finals of the Euros.
They're a good side, aren't they?
Against the Danes.
They're a good side. But look, I'm going to stick with the Mannschaft. That's who's going to win. I mean, granted, at the time this podcast out, watch me embarrass myself. They'll be out, England will be through and it'll be coming home, but I'll go with that for now. Look, we've done a lot of, we've been on for about 7 minutes now. It's time we finally get to the Scottish football.
Oh, yes.
Marvellous. That is absolutely tremendous, isn't it? We've got all these sounds. We're going to customise this to get the best. Even Stefan's clapping away at the back. It's time to finally move on to Scottish football, which I think is probably going to give David a bit of a relief if he's been watching. He'll be like, fuck me, what a Scottish football show this is. So for Euro Chat, let's start off with the big story in Scottish football at the moment, and that is, of course, Ange Postecoglou.
You should have seen him.
Thank you.
You should have seen Ryan in rehearsals when he did that. You know, he got the laughing one, which
I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that, to be fair.
We'll see in a couple of months.
We'll see. We will. So Ange Postecoglou is, of course, officially the Celtic manager. He has been for now a couple of weeks. But last week was the proper introduction of the Australian to Celtic Football Club and the fans. There was a press conference that allowed him to meet the broadcasters. Then we had the fan media press conference, which has become slightly controversial. We'll maybe touch on that, but we're more here to talk about Ange. And he's also started his training at Celtic. Calum, I'll come at you first as the Celtic fan. I've spoke about this for weeks now. Everybody knows my opinion and knows where I'm going with it. It'll be interesting to hear Div come in a moment with this, but as a Celtic fan, what are your first impressions of the big man?
I think I quite liked the way he handled himself in his first press conference. He came in, he spoke well, he seemed as if he knew what he was talking about. Same way like Dom Mackay, they two looked as if they're going to work well with each other, and sort of seemed to like compliment each other the way they were speaking. I think, as you said, when doing his first training session, it'll be interesting to hear from the players, to hear how the training actually is. For all we know, it could be the most laid back session they've ever had. It's just simple wee boxes, drills and that. Or for all we know, he's going to be absolutely pounding them like they don't Ed Ajer.
I seen a photo.
Pounding them, oh Christ!
Fair play to Ron Ajer. I know he had a strict fitness regime. That was included in fucking the photo that made me laugh, my imagination just went away in me. I seen him, it was like a shot for behind. Wow.
For God's sake, this is getting X-rated. You get a studio and fuck me.
It was all the Celtic players and they were looking at him and he was like holding the football. And as I was imagining him saying, was this something pure philosophical in regards to a football? Do you know what I mean? Like,
this is a football.
Yes, nobody is faster than the football. Oh, that part, do you know? That's all I imagine.
It's like, do you remember Eric Cantona's speech when he won that award a few years back?
That was a crying speech, to be fair.
Do you think
football is science. One day, I love football. Thank you. And Ronaldo and Messi's face is just like...
Everybody was just looking at him like, what is going on?
So
man?
You think he was getting some sort of philosophical speech?
Yeah, it takes me back to my youth when you were told. There was one time we were training and the coach picks up the ball and he's like, right, on 3, 2, 1 go, I want you to run as fast as possible in like this direction. And he's got the football, so you start running, he just boots the ball up, man, the ball's miles away. And the lesson for that is you're no faster than the football. So you need to keep a hold of it, you know what I mean? I reckon he's got Edouard doing that.
well, Edouard's not back yet. It'll be interesting to see how he fits in with the philosophy, because what we've heard, Calum, before I come to you, Div, what we've heard, Calum, is Ange's now, he's laid down the law. You know, we're talking about what he's maybe been doing his training sessions there, but he's very clearly outlined what he wants to do at Celtic to the players. We know what kind of football he wants to bring to the club. We're expecting this very kind of high press, attacking, very fitness, kind of revolves around fitness sort of football. So he's spoke to the players, he's let them know that. Do you think this is now a couple of weeks for a lot of players, especially when you look at like Lee Griffiths in particular, to prove themselves? Is this a big couple of weeks for the players at Celtic?
Oh, definitely. I think seeing a lot, just take Griffiths out of the equation. See if the younger players that are coming in, because the numbers are down just now. Players obviously away at the Euros and that. I think this is a big chance for a lot of young players to try and sort of get themselves out there, get themselves shown to them, like saying, listen, why not take a chance with me? I like a Karamo Dembele. Why not give him more against him? Give him a chance to go and show something. I think, I say, the next few weeks will be very big for the youth players, and of course the players that are in the latter stage of the contract.
Mr. Griffiths, wee tea cake, especially. His name mug. We've seen that. His name mug. Like, I don't want to get big. Well, Dev, you're hanging your head. You're tilting like a dog. But
it's getting ready to bite.
He was talking about bite. Ange Postecoglou, he quickly shut down the BBC for suggesting he was working at a lower level.
Was he working at a lower level?
I think that. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm not going to sit here and say that wasn't my first impression of Ange Postecoglou as well. My impression of Ange when he was first linked with the job is, Christ, we're going for a manager who's been working in Australia and Japan. This isn't quite the Eddie Howe levels that we were expecting. I think his justification though is perfectly sound. I don't think that you can take away from the guy. Like, he's managed in a World Cup. He's managed against some of the best teams in the world. He's managed some top players. And he's won trophies everywhere he's been in divisions that are competitive. Now, yes, it might not be household names and household divisions that he's managed in, but I think he was quite right to say, you know, it is quite insulting in a way to kind of discredit everything he's done. Now, I'm not going to come out and say he's the best thing since sliced bread, of course not, but I like to see that fight. That's what I liked about it. It wasn't so much what he said, it was the way he came out and defended himself and gave justification as to why he's in this position and why he thinks he's the right man to be in this position. So
no, I'm not going to count the guy out. I said it in a previous podcast. Like, there's no point in me sitting here and saying no, he's going to be absolutely minced. But what I will say is, if he starts losing a few games, you know what the media's like up here. They are going to be on him.
Absolutely.
And I think in that question to the BBC, I thought he stumbled Eddie's words a wee bit. I thought he looked a wee bit rattled. Listen, that could be him just laying it down. I'm not going to take any pish, but I thought he looked a wee bit rattled. And if that's happening in the first press conference, then if he does start losing a couple of games, we've seen it happens all the time, you know. The old
caravan, what
exactly.
Is it? Keeps going.
We've seen it with Pedro, we've seen it with Mark Warburton in recent years. They can lose it. Will Ange do that? I don't know. We'll need to wait and see. But what I will say, Ryan, is, and Calum, I'll ask you guys, I think it's 3 weeks now until Celtic's first Champions League qualifier. What's happening? Like, there's rumours of this boy Vuskovic coming in, but for me, you maybe need a new goalie, don't you? You need fullbacks, you need centre halves, you need somebody to replace Scott Brown, you maybe need a new striker. When are they going to start coming in? And if they are coming in, where are they coming in from? Are they coming from Australia? Because obviously that's where he knows. Or is it a case of Celtic doing the looking as they've done before and gone and signing players that maybe the manager doesn't want? It's such a catch-22, do you know what I mean?
You're a step ahead. That was transitioning nicely into where I was going next. Calum, I don't know if you were doing any reading or looking about on the internet yesterday, but Big Ange was out talking about scouting the globe and talking about South America, Asia and all the rest of it. It gets me quite, I don't know about you, I'm quite excited.
I think it's definitely something new. I'm not saying as if no manager's ever done it before, but I like that he's going out with Europe. He's not just sticking to Europe and going through all these other countries. We're branching out into, as you said, Australia. I said it in Celtic Thunder a few weeks ago. I said I'd imagine that would be his sort of calibre of player he's looking to bring in. Players from Japan or that Asian continent. I think it'll be It'll be interesting to see what he brings in the next 2 weeks.
Well, you know, that's what I was. So we've heard Vuskovic, which I'm very excited about personally. I like the thought of Vuskovic. He looks an entertaining player for a centre half. You know, we're very much talking an Ajer replacement here rather than a centre half replacement. We're talking about somebody who's a similar style. The guy likes to hit free kicks. He likes to push up the park. That's the kind of centre half we're getting in Vuskovic. We're now getting linked with, I think it's Baldock of Sheffield United as well. So there are players there, but I was very, very, very encouraged by his comments and talking about looking at these different parts of the globe, especially South America, because it's a market we've not really tapped into. Now, I know we had Diego Laxalt last year and that didn't quite work out. Laxalt wasn't great. But there's certainly talent there. This guy had 5 Brazilians in his team at Yokohama Marinos, and Ange didn't speak a word of Japanese, didn't speak a word of Portuguese, didn't speak a word of anything but English. And he managed to incorporate all these different cultures and make it a winning side. He won a league title there. So it's very interesting to me because I think that kind of flair and that kind of unknown quantity of these different players will make it more exciting for us as fans next year, which ultimately, I think me and you, Calum, have both accepted next year is mostly about improving. I don't think any of us really, as much as we want to, I think the expectation of winning the league title would be more of a bonus next year because we've accepted that right now we are behind Rangers.
I know, definitely. I think when you look at 25 points, finished to get one up.
Surely you're closing that gap first of all.
I
think it was 20 odd points and then after the back a 4-1 thumping, wasn't it, in the league?
Exactly. So like that, I think, obviously we shouldn't really be sitting here considering what we've just had over the last couple of years saying we should just be trying to close that gap. I think that needs to be the priority first. As you said, if you go and you win the league title, you win some form of silverware, and like, do you know what, brilliant, that's a bonus. But it's just in terms of, as you said, actually just closing that gap and getting it back to the sort of the close games you'd see, like you'd have like the 0-0s or the 1-eaches.
Yeah.
Now it's like a game of basketball, it was back and forth.
I think it's very interesting that you speak about trying to capitalise in these other markets as well. I mean, we obviously know that we've got plenty of talent here in Scotland as well that we can use, but this is a market that Rangers have tried to exploit as well. We've been going into the Croatian market. We went and got Borna Barisic. We went in and we got Niko Katic, who was, I don't know if at a similar level, but certainly at a similar part of his career as the boy Vuskovic, playing for the under-21s of Croatia and such. So this is something I think that both clubs need to start capitalising on and going into these markets. And because you could, I mean, just look at some of these national teams. Croatia are a smaller country than Scotland, but they're producing some top players. Like Katic is by no means a finished article, but he's got very good potential. And if this guy Vuskovic is maybe at that level, he could come in and he could do a job. So it's interesting. And I think both clubs need to start kind of fishing in new markets and try to find the hidden gems, because you can't just go straight to source to the Premier League and go and try and buy one of their up and coming centre halves, because they're going to ask for ridiculous amounts that they're not even worth. Do you know what I mean? So I think both clubs do need to start getting a wee bit more involved in that capacity. Celtic
just need to get the move on now, because we are a matter of less than a month now until we play Midtjylland in the Champions League qualifiers. So we need players. You know, a lot of the guys are not back from international duty. Olivier Ncham is in a weird limbo situation. He should be back at training. He's not on international duty. He should be back with the Celtic lads, but instead I think he was on a beach yesterday with his pals. So I don't know what's happening with him. The squad hasn't fully returned, and we've got that game coming soon, so we need signings to come in. Anyway, I'm sitting watching Divgin hand gestures.
Should we just do this then? But Stefan, big man, just spin the lens, the thing to me, so I can see. It. There we go. We're cooking and gassing. Yeah. Should we just do that? Like, things don't need to be perfect. We've got Stefan running about in the background, not tripods there, so it's fine. Fair play to Stefan.
We love it. So look, we'll move on off from Celtic just now. Ange is going to be an exciting period of time.
It's going to go one or two ways.
It is, and it could be Pedro. It could be anything. It could be anything.
I thought you were going to say Rodgers there for a second, or Gerrard.
Who knows?
No way.
It could be Rodgers. Who knows?
Fucking behave yourself.
I don't think it will be, but you never know. I guess we'll never know. Rangers, on the other hand, your season is also starting to kind of come together. Champions League stuff a wee bit further down the line for you. But Gerrard was out in the media. He said he's ready to defend this title with his and the team's lives. How's the preparation been? Because with everything that's been going on at Celtic, I've not really been able to keep up.
Players have just get back into their pre-season, much like many of the other teams. Some of the international boys obviously aren't back yet. Still got Alfredo Morelos, who is at the Copa America. so he'll be coming back in late. If we still, Borna Barisic will be having a few weeks off. Glenn Kamara will be having a few weeks off, or a couple of weeks off. But the boys are back in, they're doing their training. I thought it was really good comments for the manager, because it's one thing winning the title, it's another thing retaining it. Once you get to the top of the mountain, it's harder to stay there, because everybody wants to be where you are. So for Rangers, I think it's a case of not resting their laurels. They need to still, for me, go out and purchase a couple of players and try and improve. Do you know what I mean? Because by no means the finished article last season, although very, very impressive domestically. Still think Rangers can go out and add a few players. Boy Namdi, we've signed from
Namdi.
He's in. He signed a pre-contract. He was on loan at Wickham in the Championship last season. So he's in. He's a big boy. He's a unit of a lad. So it'll be interesting to see how he does. The way Rangers usually approach these transfer windows, in the last couple of years especially anyway, is they kind of do their business 6 months in advance, which I really like. So now we're seeing these players coming in like Namdi, and hopefully he hits the ground running, you know. But to touch on the comments, defend it with our lives, I loved that for Gerrard. And there was a very telling interview after Rangers won the league. I think it was almost, Gerrard was like, I want more of this, you know, because I think the ultimate goal was to win the league. But then he gets there and he's like, I like this, so I want more of it, which I like. You know what I mean? So
yeah, Rangers going for the title next season, Calum, is something that of course Celtic need to challenge, and Ange needs to challenge. But Rangers are well equipped now. But let's move on to one player who might not be part of that, and that's Alfredo Morelos. There is talk, there's murmurs that he could be away. Is that good news to a Celtic fan, Cal?
I think, yeah, of course, because I mean, you've seen he's one of those players eventually also broke his old firm up in the terms of the goal, but I think he's just, because he's such a big physical player as well. Two. The big two. Oh, no, I was just saying. I know, I'm you.
Yeah. There we go.
I love this. Wait till I customise this board, man, the sounds I'll be getting on here.
I've lost my talking point now.
But we're on Morelos.
Morelos.
I think obviously it'd be good to see him go away, but I think if he's going to stay, I want more of him the way he was. Not the season there, the one before. He's just been a big idiot who's kind of about people having a laugh, enjoying yourself. I thought it was fucking brilliant.
That was good,
entertaining.
And that was the season that he scored 30 odd goals by Christmas.
See, so this is what I wanted to come on to. We're talking about goals, right? Of course, I think if you're a Rangers fan, it would be daft to say you would want Morelos to go. I'd personally, if I was a Rangers fan, would die for him to stay, because of everything he's brought to the club in terms of quality and goals over the past few years. He's been remarkable for Rangers. But is there a kind of comfort now, Div, that if Morelos does go, I don't know how much these rumours, I've not, as I said, I've been too concentrated on Celtic and Ange and all the rest of it to really gauge too much from it, but is there a kind of comfort now that even if Morelos does go, you've got Ruth, who scored more goals in the Premiership than him last season. You've got players there.
Yeah, Kemar Roofe finished the season with the most goals to minutes ratio in the league. 14 league goals, and he was hardly fit for most of it. So definitely, but there was on occasion when Alfredo Morelos wasn't in the team where we definitely still missed him. So for me, he's still our best striker. He might not be our best finisher, our best goal scorer, but in terms of the overall play, I still think he is our best striker. But I think it is interesting that you brought up Kemar Roofe there, because I think a 100% fit Kemar Roofe is going to have a good time next season.
Absolutely.
Domestically especially, he's going to have a really good time in front of goal. Seen in the last Old Firm there, he get 2 goals. Instinctive finish for the first, beautiful header for the second. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him fully fit, mate, because I think we've only seen him at maybe 60%, 70%. He came to Rangers with a reoccurring calf injury. It's why it didn't work out for him really in Belgium. So yeah, if we can get him at 100%, I'm really looking forward to him. But if you can get 20 to 25 million euros for Alfredo Morelos, that's a great return. It really is.
So how much did you sign him for again?
£1 million.
That's it? Christ almighty, yeah.
£1 million.
So quite Mr. Dembele right enough, but I mean...
Well, you know, it's thereabouts though. I think it was 400k that Celtic paid and sold him for £20 million.
The development fee thing or whatever the fuck it was.
So it's... If you can get maybe that, then but I still think to take him out and maybe not replace him with another quality player, then...
But that must be an exciting part of it, for as much as you're losing...
But what I will say is
you're getting a lot of money to reinvest with.
Yeah, definitely.
And different areas as well. Like, you
exactly.
don't need to spend all of that in a striker.
Exactly, because you could argue we've got somebody there that can still score goals. Aye, what was I going to say?
I don't know. Sorry, I cut you off there, Dave. My apologies. I wish there was a boo sound.
There should be. We need to get that involved.
I want memes on it. Like, I'm trying to think of like good memes that'll be good on it. I just want like.
You need to try and get Scottish football ones.
I need to get like Brian Rice because we're fucking Hamilton. For that, every time we come to talk about Hamilton,
let us know.
Let us know what sounds we should get on the board. So Rangers are going to go for it next year. Of course they are. It's going to be. It's exciting to be positive on a Celtic side of things. Hearing Gerrard's comments and being able to go, we can challenge that because we feel like we're in a positive boat now, whereas last year we weren't.
What I was going to say is Alfredo Morelos was talking to Colombian TV and he says he's happy staying at Rangers. You know what I mean? But before that, in the previous seasons, he's been saying he'd love to get a move to the Premier League and such. You know what I mean? So it's
kind of make his mind up. So he does. He strikes me as the kind of character that is just very kind of like, spur of the moment, I'll say what I say.
Now that he's saying he wants to stay, he will probably go. But another player that Gerrard was ranting, raving about 4 or 5 months ago, Glenn Kamara, get him a new contract. There was a clear message sent out to the board: get this guy a new contract. It wasn't delivered. And he's went and had a really good Euros. Yep. He's a player that for me a lot of clubs will be looking at because he's got a lot in his locker. He's able to recycle the ball, get on it, powerful as well, coming into his own. It won't be a big transfer fee as well because it'll be a decent enough transfer fee, but it won't be as big as what I believe it should be because Rangers haven't got him on that long-term contract.
Aye.
You know, because obviously Rangers signed Glenn Kamara for 50 grand, which has been well documented from Dundee. So chances are his wages on the greatest, so a club can come in and maybe get him for an 8 to 10 million. Although if he was in a long-term contract, you're talking big bucks after a Euros like that.
What have you been thinking of Glenn at the Euros?
I think he's been very good. I think somebody pointed out on Twitter, and I never realised it was Martin Keown's comments about the Scottish League before the Euros, and he said it's not really that good, this, that and the rest of it.
Do you know what's mad? Martin Keown's, sorry to interrupt you, Martin Keown's saying that when he used to come up here and watch his boy play all the time when he was playing for Partick Thistle. Man, he was every fucking game. But anyway, on you go.
First it was that, and then again it was after Finland's first group stage game, and again we didn't stop ranting and raving about Glenn Kamara, and again I said, there you go, what league does he play in? It does show you there is cracking players up here. They will move down south, make even more a name for yourself. But that was one comment that I said, get up here. The arrogance for English has been unreal.
The biggest thing that annoyed me with the Glenn Kamara and the Euros was every single commentator calling him Glenn Kamara. And see because he was Finland's main man, he's constantly getting on the ball. He's constantly making things happen. So his name's constantly getting said. And
it's
after the first time I'm like, right.
Have you ever been in my Twitch streams? I don't think you have. Have you? Never
don't
watched
think so, maybe.
Well, every time my camera goes off, people for a laugh say Glenn Kamara. Like they say camera or whatever, like Glenn Kamara. When my camera goes off and I have to turn it back on, it just reminds me of that. I'm like, Christ almighty, this is people taking the piss when they do it, and these are actually qualified commentators. They get a guide. They actually get a guide at everybody's name and how to pronounce it. I don't know how. Maybe it is Kamara. Maybe it is Camera. Maybe
it's not.
Nah, it's definitely not, is it? But he's been really good, Calum, isn't he? He's a kind of puts into perspective every time. And McGinley, who we'll see a lot more of as the year goes on here at TSF and obviously at the Celtic Thunder, he's went on a lot about how Celtic had the chance to sign Kamara, but we went for Yusuf Malambu.
Oh, honestly, it's baffling. There was one I never knew. See when I planted.
Do you know that?
I did not know that.
Not a chance.
I'm so glad that.
Seen a plant where there was that sheet written about on Twitter and it was supposed to be who was supposed to be signed.
Like document,
I never realised on that as well. Aribo was actually on that list.
Oh, I would be, aye.
I think Aribo, I'm sure when Aribo did sign for Rangers or when the talk started, it was like Celtic and Rangers target Aribo.
Well, that's a common thing. When one of the old firm clubs learns a player that the other's looking for, they go and scout them.
It's happening just now.
They go and look. Do you know what I mean? It's always happened. It's always happened through time. And obviously you've got to do that. That's your biggest rivals. So I'm not surprised. A lot of the people that Rangers are in for, Celtic are in for as well. Do you know what I mean?
I should have had this name ready for, but I didn't expect us to really come to this on the podcast. But I should have had this bit planned. But I think there's a Colombian striker we're both looking at just now. As a Colombian player, I'm not sure if it's a striker, but both at Celtic and Rangers are looking at him. I think Rangers were looking at him first, and then Celtic are like, we're going to go and look at him.
That's what happens. I remember I was at a Rangers night, and it was a Rangers official guy talking, and he was talking about Bolingoli, and he was saying when Rangers learned about Celtic being interested in Bolingoli, they went to view him and all. Obviously realised he was absolutely
did they get a flight to Spain?
Probably. They realised he was absolutely hopeless, so they passed up on that. Do you know what I mean? They passed up on that. I'd love to know like all the stuff that happens behind the scenes, but it would just be
Celtic. We'll talk about more of this on the Celtic Defender, but Celtic are in a situation now where they don't have a chief scout. Penrice is gone.
And
Nick
you're talking
Hammond
about
is
getting
gone.
all these players for fucking Brazil and all that. But is Ange gonna?
He's going to fight himself, mate. Penrice is gone. Hammond is gone. We've not appointed it. That's a whole. If you want more of that, make sure to check out the Celtic Thunder. We'll be back this week as well. Hopefully, we have more soon in terms of podcasts. So we'll see where we're going. Before we move on, quick shout out to the sponsors, by the way, who've let us have the space today once more. G4 Claims. Thank you very much.
Yes, definitely. We've got a wee call to action here, Ryan, that I could read out. We'll see how good my drama skills are. I did a higher A I got in drama.
Did you get an A?
Aye. Obviously.
That is sickening. I got a B. Did you actually get a higher A in drama?
Aye.
Did you actually?
Aye.
I got a B because we were robbed.
Because you were shite?
No. I was. Me and Kieran Auld were actually the two best actors in the class. And the day of the higher exam, the woman walked in, and the teacher came up to us on the changing area. But it's like, "You're fucked." I'm like, what do you mean we're fucked? I'm like, this. He is or she is a wank. Basically, after it was that bad that after we got our marks, she got the sack.
My God.
They put in a complaint. Nobody, not one person in our school got an A, I think, because how strict she was.
Who is it? Fucking Steven Spielberg?
Fuck those. What's a fucking mean, Christ?
Let's do this.
Right.
I'm gonna do this.
Yes.
On behalf. It's in person at G4 Claims. But what we'll do is each podcast we'll pass it about and everybody can get a wee shot of reading the call to action. All their links and all that will be in the description below anyway, but just a wee quick one on what the guys at G4 Claims do. So if you have been involved in an accident that wasn't your fault, why claim against your own insurance policy? Right, yeah?
Why claim?
We can provide you with a like-for-like replacement hire vehicle whilst your car is off the road. Get your car repaired out of an approved body shop or a body shop of your choice. If your car is unfortunately written off, which we don't want, we will recover the costs of your pre-accident value and you will be kept in the hire vehicle until you're settled. We love being settled, just like we are in this beautiful
That's settled, yeah, this is it. This is home now.
If you suffer from any injuries, we can set up your compensation claim and all our services are free. We charge the at-fault insurance company for all our services and we will recover the bill for you and your insurance. Call us for any help and advice today. Not at fault claims made easy.
G4 Claims, everybody. Links will all be in the description below.
Yes.
Very well done, Div.
Thank you.
And a big thanks to the guys for letting us come and use the studio, of course, which is now home. I love it. Do you know what? I love this desk. I love it. See this wooden jungly lobby. I'm loving that.
We've also got the AstroTurf pitch on the ceiling.
Oh, that's right. Aye. The AstroTurf. We'll get a kickabout soon one day. We'll flip it upside down. We'll try and get a wee
Velcro trainers ordered on Amazon.
Ceiling football. The transfer mill. Let's move on to that. A couple of things left to go over before we get to our Twitter questions, which I've actually no thought. How are we going to access the Twitter questions? I'll need to try.
I've got them.
Have you got them? You got them? Aye. You got them. Oh, brilliant. I didn't think we had a signal. The transfer rumour mill and the transfer mill is going. Of course, we've spoke already a bit about Celtic and Rangers and their transfer stuff, so we'll try and focus elsewhere, but we'll touch on Celtic very quickly. First, Jack Hendry away. He's gone.
Jack Hendry away.
Jack Hendry away. Shout out to Gigpod. Any thoughts to that, Calum? I'm not. There's people that are going on about this, that, the next thing. I still don't believe he's good enough to play for Celtic, in my opinion. I don't know if you share the same. I'm not bothered about him going. Nah. Maybe the fee's a bit annoying because it's only about £1.5 million or something. We could maybe try and go more, but I'm not fussed about him leaving particularly.
Nah, it doesn't really bother me. The only thing that comes to mind is that game against Partick Thistle when he ran with the boys after he was getting chased with a bee. That's the only thing that comes to mind. Honestly, it was horrific.
It's like a wasp was chasing him.
It was like somebody said the equivalent with Scott Bain. Said if he's not good enough for Neil McCann, what the fuck's he doing at Celtic?
Aye.
Sure it was in fact, aye.
Aye.
It was from your point of that, I can't mind that. He was a hopeless player. I don't rate him, never have, never will.
Aye, I think he's had his chance at Celtic, so it's no time. He's went to Ostend. He's
did
done
he impress
a
you
good
at all
job.
for Scotland?
He did, aye. I thought in the World Cup qualifiers he came in, he did okay. Up until he get a wee bit ahead of himself, I think, in the Czech Republic game. He goes for the shot and ultimately was left behind after that. Which aye. And I will say when he's at Ostend, I know he was playing in the middle of a free, and then when he went and played for Scotland, he was playing in the right side of a free. I always thought like, we spoke about it off camera once as well, and I was like, oh, he's obviously went to Ostend. Like, this guy could actually go and improve and such.
Aye.
But then you told me he was 26.
26.
I genuinely thought Jack Hendry was about 22, 21. I thought he was young.
He's in his peak, mate. He's in his prime.
Well, I just think he's had his chance at Celtic now,
Aye.
so he can go to Ostend and do alright for himself and call everybody airheads and
you fucking
all the rest
space
of it.
cadet.
That clip was sensational.
That is
I
good.
loved that. I think that's what impressed me most about Jack Hendry, that clip.
Aye. The battle for Josh Doig has begun. Hibs received a £2.5 million offer from Watford of now Premier League, which they have rejected. 2.5 not enough. Div, has that surprised you? I thought maybe that would be what they would accept, especially with what times have been like recently, but they're clearly holding out for more.
I think with Josh Doig's age, I think that comes into it here, and I think that's what Hibs will hold on to. I am surprised though that they are knocking back big fees, but they obviously value him much higher, and I would as well, and I like it when a Scottish club kind of stands up to another club, and
especially Premier League clubs.
Especially Premier League clubs, exactly, because they've got a lot of money, so if it was a League One player, for example, that Watford were trying to sign, they'd go and give him 5 to 10 million.
Aye.
That's just what they did, do you know what I mean? So I quite like it for Hibs, to be fair. And with his age, I try and get as much as possible, but Hibs must have a wee bit of money, because that's a few big offers now they've rejected.
They've done it for Nisbet, apparently.
For Nisbet,
for
2 million, was it?
Yep, and they've done it now for Doig. I think there was someone else, I can't mind now off the top of my head, but aye, they must have something there behind them. They're a well-run club, to be fair. So
aye. We talk about young players. He's a player that's got a big future ahead of him if he makes the right decisions and he goes to the right club and such. So just hold out for as much as possible.
Do you think, Callum, that the reason that they're knocking back a bid of like £2.5 million is because they know there is so much interest there? There's Celtic who are tracking them. There'll be more clubs in England, I reckon, maybe of the same standard of Watford. There might even be slight interest from abroad. You never know. Look at Aaron Hickey. They know they can get more money for this boy.
Definitely. I think, as you said there with Hickey, I just hope he doesn't make the same mistake. Not saying Hickey's made a mistake with his career, but I don't think he should went to Italy as early. I think he should have went to if he came.
Because now he's talking about coming back.
Coming back. I think Hibs, as Dave says, I think Hibs are doing absolutely fantastic with that. They've every right to knock back that bid, because again, it's like supply and demand. They have it.
And why accept the first bid, as you say, Ryan? Like, get a bidding more on the go, because he's a young, talented player, and if it doesn't come to fruition, Hibs will know that he'll be in their team next season. So it's a win-win for Hibs. Do you know what I mean?
Would you rather see him go to Watford than Celtic?
I wouldn't mind who he went to be honest. Like, although I think he's a young, talented player, I think he's got a couple of years to go.
He's very raw. He's still very raw.
Still very raw. There was a couple of times last season where he was hooked at half time for Stevenson. So, but the fact that he actually got in there ahead of Stevenson, who's an absolute veteran and a Hibs legend, just goes to show how good he was doing in training and how good his performances and that were. That's Stefan away.
On the same topic as Hibs, big news coming out that David Gray has retired. He's going to go into a coaching role. Is it hard to replace experience? Is that the same sort of thing as Celtic now? They've got to replace that captain type character and replace that experience. Will he be a big miss, Cal?
I think you'll definitely notice him being that sort of the physical side of him, doing that right hand side for him, because I've seen him shift out towards right back. But I think it probably was coming about the right time. I think it's just 35, 36.
35, 36, something like that.
Run about that, so I'm saying, now's probably the perfect time, just going to that coaching role. I think it'll be good for the young boys coming through as well. In terms of Doig, you'll be able to take him aside in training session and tell them the right stuff to do.
Good point. And look, keeping somebody around the club, we were talking about that at Celtic, how we would like someone there who could maybe help Ange. So now you've got someone like David Gray there who's going to probably be there for quite a while, you'd imagine.
I reckon, definitely. The fact that he's not been playing a lot as well. You know, David Gray.
Last season he was more.
McGinn was playing at the right. That's right. It was really good. He's kind of transitioned nicely into this coaching role, and I think it'll be good for them, because obviously he's leaving, but he's going into a coaching role with Hibs. So he's leaving, but he's not. Do you know what I mean? So he'll still be around.
His presence is there.
His presence is still there, and it's exactly what I think Celtic should have done
with Bruni,
with Scott Brown. They missed it. I can't believe.
I
can't believe he's kicking about in an Aberdeen tote. I really can't.
See the
so long sleeves.
Oh my!
What's he doing wearing long sleeves?
The joggies, and the joggies as well.
He's changed, isn't he? The coaching gear. I'd said the same. I said to my dad, he's probably something to do with the coach.
He's changed, man. He's changed.
That doesn't look right at all.
Yeah, nice transition on to Aberdeen, because I wanted to come to Aberdeen next. The Stephen Glass effect is truly has started. They are signing players from over in the MLS. It was a question that was raised when he was given the job. Would we start to see people come over from Atlanta United and the MLS? Well, they have made their first signing, or first sort of big signing of the season. They've brought in Christian Ramirez from Houston Dynamo, striker on a 2-year deal. It's quite hard to gather thoughts around players you don't see as often. Of course, we don't know much about the MLS, but the Stephen Glass effect.
He's an aerial threat.
Do you know what? He's got a good foot.
Listen.
Don't know if he's a left or right footer.
His mantra in football, if in doubt, kick it out. So that's what to expect from him. I'm telling you. Does he play striker?
Striker, aye.
If in doubt, score a goal. That's what he says. He's really good at it as well. It's a hard one, because it's a lot of these players you don't know who they are.
Aye.
But what I will say about the MLS is a lot of the players that play there are fit.
Yep.
Like, they have some top facilities, way better facilities than we have.
Crazy. I mean, if you look at probably like LA Galaxy, they would probably put Lennox Town to shame. And they'd probably put Auchenhowie to shame.
Mate, see, Matt Polster that played for Rangers, an American guy, and never got in the team much. We sold him on to a team in the MLS, and I watched his interview afterwards when he joined, and they took him through all the facilities. It's night and day.
Aye.
But they've got the money out there, haven't they? They don't really have the players at the moment.
It's a very franchise-esque
scenario.
That wasn't a fart, by the way. If anybody, I slid my elbow.
Stinking, man.
God.
Jesus.
What is that? Is that
talking about tomato sauce? A wee bit of bacon. MLS. Talking about MLS and transfers, kind of goes nice. I wasn't intending to bring this up. Johnny Russell? It just makes me think Kamara scored his first goal the other night for New York Red Bulls. I'm still gutted we let him go, in all honesty.
Sure, I'm not saying he didn't get a chance, but it feels as if we didn't give him enough stars to say,
not
go and
at
prove
all.
yourself, then, son. I do feel a bit bad for him, but then if he's going out there, scoring goals,
getting money, living in the big city.
Exactly. That's the lifestyle. You go over there for the lifestyle as well, don't you? Like the lifestyle in America.
I imagine that he was probably staying, I don't know, maybe somewhere in the city centre or a flat or something like that, because it's not one of the Scottish guys. He's went from that to probably somewhere in New York City.
But probably the same kind of thing, but a bigger city.
True. I bet, man, you're in New York.
I know.
He's
that's
like
what I was.
to fucking
Miami. That's what I was going to bring up. Morgan in the standard of the MLS. Morgan went over. It wasn't really doing it at Celtic. He goes over to Inter Miami.
Gonzalo Higuain.
Plays with Gonzalo Higuain. And apparently
Higuain says one of the best players he's played.
Exactly. No, I don't think he went that far, but I'm pretty sure Higuain says to him, "Why are you here, mate? You're too good to be here." And if Morgan's a decent enough player, but if he's too good enough to be there, then Jesus Christ.
Well,
Kamara will score 40 goals.
That's what makes this signing from Aberdeen interesting, because yes, we're used to seeing players leave Scotland and go to the MLS, and on an odd occasion we've seen like Mackay Steven, Kenny Miller and Chris Boyd, who've went to the MLS and then came back from the MLS, but we've never really, and I can't think of many players who have actually came from the MLS, being an MLS player, to then be a main part of a team. Celtic were of course linked with Mark McKenzie last year, never came to fruition, so this is the first time that I can think of at the top of my head that it's really happened.
The only other one I can think of is Lyndon Donovan. That's one big one.
He went to Everton
on loan, and I think
he
was good enough to play at Everton, but it was just one of those ones he wanted to stay in his home place. We've had a couple at Rangers. We've had Carlos Bocanegra.
That's right.
I don't actually know if he came for the MLS. We also got Morris Edu.
What about DeMarcus Beasley as well?
DeMarcus Beasley as well. But see, the thing about a lot of these American players, like the top American players, they'll probably not play in the MLS. They'll be scouted already and they'll go and play in Europe. Like a lot of the MLS American boys, Croatian boys and that end up in Germany.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you see obviously Christian Pulisic and a lot of it, Giovanni Reina,
Alphonso Davies
from Canada. A lot of these guys getting, and that now you've got, even in terms of coaches, Jesse Marsh, who's now got the job at Leipzig. So these guys are coming from America and they're doing stuff, so it'll be interesting to see how Mr. Ramirez does up front. And the final topic before we move on to the last two segments of today's show, the crowds are coming back, boys. Hey! I I've abused the cheer button today, but no, do you know what we need to get? Like, you know how Open Goal have they've been opening all our shows with the
we need our own theme song.
We need a wee
jingle.
Aye.
Well, I got a higher A in music as well. I didn't.
You didn't even get one in drama, did you?
I did.
Oh,
but I
did
did music.
Did you get one in drama?
I
did you get one in drama? Right, I believe you. I don't believe you.
No, I'll show you the receipts, mate.
The receipts. We need to get that wee tune that we can all just when some gig comes up.
Do you know who we could get maybe to get us a wee tune on the go?
Who?
Chris McGill.
Whatever
it takes.
Scott McGill.
Wait, I'm going to edit that.
Chris McGill.
Do you know who we could get to get us a wee jingle?
That is absolutely getting kept in. Do not edit that out.
Scott McGill.
So fair.
I've only met him once, but he's so talented, mate. He's
really
good.
Brilliant.
He's
really
whatever
good.
it takes.
Really
He's whatever it takes.
To me, that was the anthem for the Euros for Scotland. I know it was unofficial, but for me, it was the best out of all of them. I liked it. Do you know? I actually liked the LaFontaine's one as well.
I was hitting this with it.
I like that.
I didn't even know that. I didn't know
the Scotland, bonny Scotland, from the east coast to the west.
I never listened to that one, so whatever it takes for
we
me.
had it on. That was actually the very last song we played before we went out in London, like in the apartment. It was the last song we played. I was buzzing, man. I was like, I'm sitting there upstairs, like, come on. But Scots was brilliant. Scots was really good to me.
There's no chance Scott is giving us a jingle now because it's because I know a guy called Chris McGill. Aye, I think he used to be my old boss. That's what.
That old chestnut.
No, seriously.
Aye, so the fans are coming back apparently, with the ifs and the buts that we would normally expect. Mr. Leach, the dentist or whatever he is, Jason Leach, has said that we could expect full stadiums come August 10th if things go well.
What does that mean, though?
Well, you'd imagine that... Well, this is the way I looked at it. We discussed this in our Celtic podcast the other day, right? If, by August 10th, everybody that has accepted their vaccine in Scotland has taken their vaccine, that has to be it, surely. Now, I know we need to try and slow down the spread and stuff and that as well, but what else can you do after a vaccine? If the vaccine is out, the vaccine is done, then surely we need to now start getting ourselves, maybe not with 60,000 in Parkhead straight away, but we now have to start the transition back into normal life. After a vaccine, there's not much else we can do. And we can't let this control our lives forever.
Forever, exactly.
So we need to do something.
We need to get the fans back in, man. We need it.
Absolutely. And we've seen the difference, Calum, at the Euros, haven't we? Between even empty stadiums, but even when you look at Wembley, which has had 20,000 or whatever, but then you go over to Copenhagen and you go over to Budapest and they've got 60,000 in these grounds, you notice the difference.
Honestly, it's unbelievable to watch. Like, you even put it in the chat saying for the final it should be in Hungary, because again you get 6,000, you get a full house down. And honestly, all the games that have been in Budapest have been unreal. Again, I said, because you've got the fans there, even if it's like a late tackle, you've got all the uproar on that. It's unbelievable. The difference is mad. It's
crazy, and the fans in Scotland really deserve us now. I know we've already started kind of. David was at a Dunfermline friendly the other day through in Edinburgh. I think there was fans at obviously Dundee's and Kilmarnock's playoff game. Very small amount, of course, but there's fans here who just look. Rangers fans are dying to get in and celebrate their title win, Flag Day, all the rest of it. Celtic fans, a new manager. St Johnstone fans after a cup double. The scenes we could see in the opening weekend are unbelievable, and full houses would be magical.
It's going to be like going back, like it's going to be like your first experience of a football game again. It's been that long. It's been almost 2 years. It's around about that.
18 months.
18 months. Like, it's crazy, mate. Like, I just can't wait. I just cannot wait to get back in the stadium, walk up the stairs, just watch your football. I just can't wait. It gives you something to look forward to as well at the weekends, and it's going to be unbelievable. You'll never ever take a game of football for granted again. You'll never
Wednesday night against Hamilton in a pissing cold. Oh yes.
You'll never just turn up and get through the emotions. Not that I do that, but some people do. You know.
I was going to say, in regards to us, I don't know what your first game with fans would be. I'm not too sure, but have you seen what Celtic's would be?
Nah.
Hearts?
No, it's after the Hearts game. It would be a first home game anyway. I think it's actually just first game altogether. It would be, funnily enough, St Mirren, which was the last game that we had before the football was all cancelled. So very poetic that we start how we finished, but hopefully that resembles the form. Hopefully Celtic continue on from that rampant 5-0 win we got against St Mirren, and hopefully Rangers return to struggling.
Hopefully not. Your host of Talk Scottish Football, ladies and gentlemen, as unbiased as they come.
No, I'm joking.
Brian Fitzsimons.
Thank you. I would press it, but I'll let you halfway this time. So, crowds could be coming back with the ifs and buts. Look, how hopeful are we? Personally, myself, I am sceptical because we've been promised so much. Not just in Scotland, of course, over the whole country. I think England's day has been pushed back quite by 3 weeks, I think it was.
3 weeks to a month, I think.
3 weeks to a month, it was pushed back from the original Freedom Day. So we can only wait and see. But there is a high chance. You're a season ticket holder, aren't you?
Of course.
Aye, you're renewed, aye.
Oh, of course.
So you'll be hoping that you're one of the ones on the course. Course.
Although there was a scare the other day, but Rangers have got the MyJers thing, and
we've got, what is it called?
Somebody put out a tweet and said that MyJers members would get priority, and I thought that was a bit of a joke, but it's turned out to be for something else, which is good. Although Rangers are doing an open training session for all the MyJers now.
Yeah, we've got one for the season ticket holders. We've got a few things, haven't we? We've got access to friendlies and fucking women's game.
You've got £50 vouchers and everything, man.
The golden ticket. The golden ticket. Have you spent yours yet? No, you've spent yours.
Can't believe you've settled for that though, man. There was talk of getting £600 worth of shares and all that for season ticket holders, and you're just getting a £50 voucher. That was for the Brendan Rodgers book.
I'll be buying that. I think you'll find I'll be buying the Celtic shoe shine kit. So leave me be. Celtic have got a few things for season ticket holders. Rangers will probably have a few as well. Season ticket holders around the country ready to get back. Just get us in the grounds, man. That's all we can ask for.
The loyalty that's been shown for the Scottish fans is absolutely insane. It's no wee bits of money. Do you know what I mean? To your average Bob, it's between £450 to £600-700, and then you've got some people who've got children and 2 or 3 season tickets.
Some people have got up to 5 season ticket holders in the household.
Exactly. And
a lot of money.
We know about all these dodgy streams and that. The amount of people that weren't even buying season tickets but were still watching these dodgy streams was crazy. So the loyalty shown by the season ticket holders has got to be commended, and they've got to be rewarded big time, in my opinion. And Rangers have sold out their season tickets too, which is class. Have you sold yours out?
No, I think we've not put ours out on sale yet because they've just finished the renewal.
No, I mean sold out for as in is 45,000.
Well, we've not put ours on, so we've only done the renewal stage. We've not actually put them out on sale yet. So like,
that's for people, if a season ticket holder last.
No, that's what I mean.
Oh, right, I don't know if it's sold.
So you only get a certain amount of season tickets that are allowed.
I think there's 50.
Yours is 45,000.
50,000. I think we've got. I'm not sure, but
they've not sold out then.
They've not sold out yet, but they're going to sell. They've not put them out.
So there'll be a general.
Yeah, there'll be a general sale.
That's crazy because I know Rangers has about a 3-year waiting list, but we've sold 45,000.
See, we have a waiting list as well, but I have no idea how it's working. I don't know.
Got to go to the people that are on the waiting list.
I will do. So basically, I think there is talk, and I don't want to say anything on Talk Scottish Football that might not be true and get people's hopes up, but I think there's talk of the old allocations returning for the derby games.
That's going to happen. That's a talking point.
I think there is talk of that happening. The stage that Celtic are currently at is people who sit in sections 118 and 119, sections 118 and 119 to move and get reallocated because of the chance of Rangers getting their old allocation back.
It's got to happen. I know it was Rangers that started it and then Celtic followed suit. But a lot of Rangers fans, Rangers fans weren't happy with it because it takes away from the atmosphere.
The atmosphere's pish.
It's 5,000 fans, I think, that you get in it. That's the usual, and it was cut down to 500. It's just different. Like, I sit in the Broomland front at Ibrox.
You'd be better with none.
I know.
You'd be better with none.
And I would always be relocated to the away section.
Aye.
And that's where the Celtic fans are. So at Ibrox, and it's just not the same, and it goes quite dead at points.
Aye.
Whereas before it was like a tennis match.
You bounced off each other.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I always used to remember going in for the Old Firm games, and I'd always be in the away section, obviously at home though, because I'd need to be reallocated. And you just hear it straight away, and you know you're at an Old Firm. Whereas before, the last couple of years, I've not been getting that feeling.
Yep,
so
absolutely,
that needs to come back, mate, and fans want that. So it needs to happen.
Exactly, and it's beneficial for both clubs as well financially, and because you can charge extra. People will pay anything for the tickets to go to be in the away end and the other team's stadium and try and wind up the opposition. Oh, you would. Right, let's move on to Twitter questions so we can get onto the quiz afterwards, and then I'll wrap up the show. So Div, fire away. Let us know what we're answering on today's episode of the show.
James McDonough, he says a question related to
James, hey.
to Big Ange's homeland. Would you rather fight a kangaroo or a man-sized koala? We'll go to you first, Calum, on that.
Man-sized koala, I'd imagine, surely.
You would rather fight a kangaroo or a man-sized koala? A koala's no vicious wee bastards.
Have you not seen the video? I've seen it on TikTok. I was going through, and it's the guys fighting the golf course with a kangaroo, and it's actual ground.
Oh, and it's proper.
It genuinely sounds like a pit bull. I did not know it was possible for him.
He's given us a tough choice there, Ryan, because I don't really want to fight any of them.
No, there they are. I mean, usually I'm meant to say, like, I don't know, a kangaroo-sized Ange or an Ange-sized kangaroo. I think I'd have to. I know none of them are ideal, but I'm sure koalas can be proper, like, viciously, terrifyingly lethal if you piss them off. I'm not want to fight a human-sized one. I'm going to kangaroo.
I'm going to kangaroo as well, because there is viral videos of kangaroos just getting punched.
Aye.
And you know what I mean? And then they retreat a wee bit.
Soon you see them land stuff.
Whereas,
give me this.
I know, aye.
They are though, aren't they?
They're such weird animals, aren't they? Like, I've not had the chance to ever see one. I've not been to Australia. I would love to. But
I've seen them in the zoo.
Did they have them in the zoos up here? I might have seen one of them, but I don't remember it. But I've never been to Australia. I'd love to go to Australia, but I've never seen one. They're such. Because you hear and see so much of them.
They're like squirrels in Australia.
It's just, it's wild. Yeah. Anyway.
Spunk Phone asked, does the owner of the new space like Hayley Williams?
It's a good question. G4 claims at them on Twitter.
You've got to ask him yourself directly, Spunk Phone.
Do you like Hayley Williams?
Yes.
Yeah, nice.
I don't know the right answer for that, but yes. Fine. I've been running long enough now that I know that's a running joke.
You're in the good books.
Nice. I'll giggle Hayley Williams later.
I can't believe you don't know.
No, Kenny asks, for Div, do you think that this season will see Rangers overtake Celtic in revenue with the recent European successes, valuable sellable player assets and switched on in the marketing department? I still think Rangers are behind, obviously, in the finances. They've got a long way to go, but I do like the ambition of Rangers where they're not just comfortable for settling domestically. They want to be good in Europe, and that has stood Steven Gerrard in good stead. It's the reason he was able to go out and get players like Ryan Kent. I don't think Rangers signed Ryan Kent if we don't qualify for the group stages a couple of years ago. So potentially, maybe not this season, but if Rangers are qualifying every year for the Champions League, it'll catch up quick, because that's just the way it is, isn't it?
The Morelos monies.
What do you think? Just even in...
I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know everything about the finances of both clubs. You know, you get your revenue report things at the end of every financial year, and that's basically what you have to work with. I'm not a shareholder, I'm not a trust member or anything like that. What I know is the difference for the last few years has of course been stark between Celtic and Rangers, so it's going to take a while. It just depends on the successes of both clubs.
And even if you look at the wage budgets and the transfer budgets for last season as well, Celtic were still miles ahead in that. So it's just all about every season trying to be ambitious. Yep. And this Champions League money's different gravy. Do you know what I mean? So if you're able to get to the Champions League, the other team isn't, that's just. I mean, that's
what made the difference for when Rodgers came in. We qualified 2 years in a row. You know, we qualified for 2 Champions League group stages. That's 60-70 million pounds.
Football Prime Ginger asks, what is your honest thoughts on fan media? And I know we've kind of covered it, but no fully covered it, because we were going to go back to the Celtic press conference in which fan media were invited.
Yes.
It appears that they just invited every cunt. You know? If you've got a YouTube channel,
they never invited me.
Other than you.
Me.
For obvious reasons.
Obvious reasons.
I'm kidding on. They probably thought that you were going to be the one that was... no friends.
No friends.
Honest thoughts on fan media. Ryan, do you want to kick us off on that, since you're still hurt that you weren't invited?
I'm not hurt. I'm
not hurt. I'm just disappointed.
I'm bitterly disappointed. No, listen, we sit here just now as a form of fan media. TSF is a form of fan media. None of us are qualified journalists. We're not qualified. We've got Stefan, but we're not here at this table qualified journalists. And Stefan's doing a grand job there on the producer, so can't say Stefan. Yep. we're all... There you go. That's it. And my view on fan media at the moment is giving... Obviously, there's all different outlets for it. You've got bloggers, you've got vloggers, you've got YouTubers, you've got just website writers, you've got every sort of different avenue you can think of with fan media. Fan media, for me, is giving a far more realistic, truer, and passionate view on football clubs than the traditional media. And someone who's training to be in the traditional media, I've not got an issue as deep as what some other people might. This isn't me. I'm not going to go out and attack people in the traditional media. Absolutely not, because I'm ultimately training to be a journalist. But there's people in the traditional media who are absolutely scared of fan media because of the work they're doing. And I'm proud to say that I'm part of that fan media. And I might have not been at that press conference, but I absolutely love it. Now, there are people, and there always will be people, who are in fan media and in different groups who are not one that... I don't want to offend anybody or anything, because people won't like me. I know people don't like me. I'm not going to sit and pretend here that I'm a voice for a group of people.
You wouldn't ask that question, though.
Yeah, I'm not the end all be all. No one is. Everybody's got their own take and their own opinions and their own fan bases. But there are people, of course, who... And we'll go to that question that was at the fan media press conference that has been a bit embarrassing. It's been shown and it's been thinking. There are people like that, and that's the case. They have their own followings, and that happens. Yes, it does reflect badly to an extent, but don't let the traditional media leave you believe that reflects the whole of fan media, is what I would say. The fan media is doing a great job. There are people in the Celtic fan media in particular who have been remarkable over the past year. People at 67 Hail, people at Celtic Fans TV, there's people all over at GigPod, all these guys who are doing a remarkable job at reporting and giving a truer take on what is happening at their clubs, and that's for every club, not just Celtic. And that's the future. YouTube, online blogging, everything else is the future. Paper and stuff is dying. As much as I would like to dabble in stuff like that, and I'd like to go into radio, I'd like to go on television, people are on YouTube.
I think you've put that perfectly, mate, to be quite honest. But what I will say is, when I get first into doing YouTube and that, I think it was 17, 18.
Aye.
So you make mistakes, you make an arse of yourself in that.
Trust me, we've all made an arse of yourself.
You can make an arse of yourself, but I think you need to remember, if you are getting involved in this, you have a bit of a responsibility to fucking... You're representing the club to a certain extent as well, or whatever if you're talking about Scottish football, you don't want to go in and just make yourself look like an idiot and embarrass yourself. And if you do that gives these people in the mainstream the opportunity to just go, well, this is what you're up against. This is what and it tarnishes everybody in fan media in the same brush. And the thing I absolutely love about fan media is the thing I hate. They cut that mic
when that question was getting asked. I don't understand why they left that microphone on.
Me and Calum were talking about it. Usually every football club's got a wee PR person, and they're on it. And I'm sure Celtic will have one. But as soon as he starts going on that question, they've got to cut the mic. That's embarrassing. Do you know what I mean? And I think Celtic will learn from it, and they'll be more selective in who they invite. Do you know? But yeah.
Hello, Celtic. Aye. I'll represent TSF in a good state. And just quick, I was going to actually throw something in there, and it's completely slipped my mind.
Just move on next
in that press conference, it was 50 minutes long. There was one question at the start, and there was one question towards the end that takes up a total, I think, of 2 minutes. The other 48 minutes is absolutely fantastic, and it is 10 times better than the original the actual press conference that Ange done. So don't let these clips and that throw you off. Yes, they are, and yes, there has to be a sort of, as you said, a more kind of, I think, thought through process of to see who's being invited and how they handle these questions. But the other 48 minutes is absolutely fantastic, and fair play to everybody who was there and doing a job for their respective publication.
There you go. Fatboy Beans says, is Div's highlight of the Euros meeting Fatboy Beans? It's got to be up there.
It's up there.
It's got to be up there. I mean, you did get me a viral.
Aye.
In relation.
GMB.
Not a completely viral, know what I mean?
But it still is. You were on national television.
National television, and 1,700 likes on Instagram. It's not bad, innit?
That's good.
That's what I was saying today too. As soon as I was on there, I wasn't there to fucking...
You were there to take part. You were there to take over.
No, I was just there to get a clip. That's what I wanted.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean?
It's like me, I'm here today to just get a 40 behind the mic.
If I could have plugged TSF, I would have. Do you know what I mean? I was so close to. But I just didn't have enough time.
Sitting there throwing herself in front of you like, whoa. Can I say that?
Last question then. We'll go to Deck Cairns 72. Says question for all. So we'll go to you first on this one then, Callum. Black Rooster, aye?
Of course.
Not a paid endorsement, but Black Rooster, if you want to get involved with the podcast,
feel free.
I would love to be tucking into a Black Rooster right now.
I'm choking for a piece of chicken, man.
I love chicken. You've not had a lot of chicken recently, I know, haven't you? Know?
Nah.
It's a bit dry for you, innit?
Nah.
Recently, with the chicken.
Is it? I don't get this. What are you even it here?
It's a euphemism.
A euphemism for... David Brown. Jesus Christ almighty. I'm loving it. Very quickly, Black Rooster order, go.
Chicken. I go for the spices.
Chicken.
Plenty of chicken, moist chicken.
Moist chicken. Do you just walk up and go, can I have some moist chicken?
Aye. You've just done that for people that hate the word moist. You just need to
for me, I like a good wrap.
A wrap,
a nice wrap, but I like it hot and obviously spicy rice and all that. I just go all in, mate. All in hot.
Mine's is normally... I usually go for like the double chicken burger. With a nice spice.
Oh my God.
And then I get the spicy curly fries. Because they're banging. Spicy
that is such a childish thing.
Then I get the mozzarella sticks because you can't go and no get the mozzarella sticks. They're beautiful. And then if I'm feeling it, I'll get some chicken strips as well. Chicken strips and dips.
Didn't realise we were ordering the full menu.
I know.
What?
Didn't realise we were ordering the full menu.
I've seen worse.
It's been a 5-minute fucking rant on Black Rooster.
Well, we need Calum's order quick, right?
No,
go.
I'm really basic, but I just go chicken and rice.
Aye.
Chicken rice bowl's brilliant.
Chicken rice is nice, to be fair. That's nice.
Chicken and rice is
We've even just endorsed Black Rooster for like 5 minutes with it.
Listen, Black Rooster, get involved because we absolutely love you.
Yes, we do. Right, that brings us on to the final part of the show. It's our first live studio quiz. Oh my God, I don't even have a fucking... That'll do it.
Pulse on it.
I was like, I can't remember what it's where. So, yeah, of course, we always have a quiz at the end of each show just to end off and get things, nice and interesting and feisty. So it's going to be Div against Calum in today's quiz. I'm hoping next time I can be quizzed because I like just... I like showing people up. I don't think I've won that many. I think I've been quite poor. So, in true TSF fashion, we'll find out who's going to go first through the flip of a coin. Sadly, I don't have a coin. Anybody have a coin?
Not used to the CD one you always do.
Signal's rotten though, so I don't know if we'll get it. It's fine. Do you know what? We'll flip the bank.
You could flip anything.
We'll flip the driving licence, right? So, heads is the side with the head.
Let's have a look first, actually. Let me have a look at it.
Oh my God.
Let me have a look.
It's embarrassing. I'm 12-year-old, innit?
Ooh.
I need to get it updated. See, it's brutal because see, every time I go to like a pub or a club or whatever, and they say like,
"You look so underage."
And they ask, I know. So when they ask for my ID, and they look at it and they stare at it, and they're like,
"That's not you." But why would you use a child's ID?
I know. So I'm like, it's for 2012 because when you sign up for a driver's license, it's like, do you want to use your passport photo? And I click yes, forgetting that was my passport photo at the time. So I need a new one. Anyway, so we'll do the flip of that and we'll see who is taking on first or second. Set away, Mr. I'm sitting across from you, so when you go, would you like heads or tails, sir?
Heads,
right, okay.
Never fails.
It doesn't fail on this occasion either. There you go, head. So would you like set A or set B, Mr. Div?
Set A.
Set A?
Yes.
Oh, so you want to go first. Here we go then.
I think it's the best mentality to have. You want to get ahead early, don't you?
Well, you seen what happened to France last night, going second in the penalty shootout?
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking of, Ryan.
Was it?
And then the same thing happened to England tonight. Oh. That was a prediction, by the way.
Right, so I'll wait. I just get my questions up very quickly if I can find it. There we go. Superb. Right, are you ready?
Ready as I'm actually quite bad at quizzes.
We can't use that because Clyde One used that. I was going to say we need to get the mastermind tune like the dun 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 dun.
Again, we'll get Mr. McGill on board.
Chris. Right, question number 1 on you go, Div. Here we go. How many games were held at Hampden for Euro 2020?
This is going up the more, isn't it? So that counts.
Yep.
So it would be 4.
4 is the correct answer. There you go. 4 is right. I love how Stefan's taking part in for the back. I seen him. He's on. He's like, right. Question number 1 for you, Calum. Who was recently appointed as manager of Dundee United?
Oh, I am fucking hopeless.
I honestly couldn't remember his name for the life of me.
Nah.
No got a clue. No.
No.
Do you have one? Honestly,
I generally need to keep up with me outside of Celtic.
Mate, honestly, that's what I was saying to David the other week. I'm totally switched off for the Scottish game. I need to get back into it. So no, I don't know.
See, I've been focusing too much on Celtic. I would have forgot about it. Stefan, do you have a guess? It's forgot as well. We've got Thomas Courts.
Oh, that's what I was going to say.
The coach, I think he was the coach. It was promoted as well.
Was he? Right, I never got that then.
Something like that anyway. Right, question 2 for you, Div, to take a 2-0 lead. What is the name of Scotland's national team? What is the name of Scotland's national team's goalkeeping coach? You would get this.
It's can I do second names?
Need the whole name, mate.
Oh,
Need the whole name.
Woods.
Right.
I should get it for Woods, man. He's a Celtic guy, isn't he?
Chris Woods.
Chris Woods.
Is that your guess? He works. He's Celtic's goalkeeping coach. That's right.
Something telling me that his name is Davy.
You got the last 2 letters right, but it's Stevie.
Stevie
Woods. Oh, unlucky. I wanted his full name. It's too easy to get the full name.
It's not easy for me.
It's easy. Stevie Woods. Gorgeous, baldy man. He's been about Scottish football for years. You should know him.
I did. I fucking say that.
Right, a chance to equalise for Calum Craig, son of Henrik Larsson. Jordan Larsson is set to face Ukraine at the time of recording. So it's getting played tonight in an 8 o'clock game. But how many appearances has he made so far at Euro 2020?
1.
I'd say 0.
It's 0. 0 is correct.
1.
He's not played at all yet. Not played at all. So well done, Dave. You would have got that, but of course it's still 1-0. Chance to make it 2-0 here. Which team in the Scottish Premiership received the most red cards last season?
Oh my God. Hamilton.
Is wrong. Calum. I mean, you kind of get a point, but...
St Mirren.
Nah.
County.
No. Got a guess, Stefan?
Hibs.
No, it's not Hibs.
They
went down.
Kelly.
Kelly's the correct answer.
I knew it'd be one of the lower teams, man.
Yeah, it was Kelly anyway. Right, a chance to equalise, Calum. Come on, son. How many SPFL players were at Euro 2020?
My God.
And that includes Hearts as well. I'll give you it if you get it within 1. So if you're over or under by 1, I will give you it. Because obviously it's quite hard. You've not got the time to really sit and try and count them up.
13.
Oh, you weren't far as well, but it's not 13. What would you have said, Div?
I was going to say 10.
10, oh, you were closer. Do you have a guess, Stefan?
I was going to say 9.
9. It's actually, I didn't think it would be as high.
15.
16?
16.
16 players. I don't know. I'd have to sit and look at the 16. Obviously, you've got all the Celtic boys that play for Scotland, and then you've got John McLaughlin, Glenn Kamara, blah, blah, blah. 16?
Halander, Barisic,
Yep.
Glenn Kamara.
There's quite a few anyway. There we go. Right. God's sake, we're on a bit of a dry run here. No questions right since the first one. Broadwood is the stadium. What is the club?
Clyde.
Clyde is correct. 2-0 to Div.
The Bully Wee.
The Bully Wee. I never got that name. Is that like Old Tongue or
Old
something?
Tongue, I think.
Is it Old Tongue? You like a bit of Old Tongue, don't you?
At least I'm getting tongue.
There you go. I wish I never said it though. Calum, question for you. What is the name of the Japanese club that was most recently managed by Ange Postecoglou?
He's not going to get this.
Oh, I'm hopeless with names.
You're actually not going to get it.
There's no chance. I'm in his seat.
Why? I know that. Why?
It's no Wickham.
How did you get Wickham for YM?
Don't know.
WYM, innit? No, WYC.
Yeah, I'm not going to embarrass myself trying to say it.
Yokohama Moscow.
No, do you know it's Stefan? That's the one.
What is it?
Yokohama F. Marinos. That is the team.
Can't believe I was pronouncing that.
I can't believe you don't get it. Right, Div. You've already won, but we can go and finish off the quiz anyway. What percentage of players in the Scottish Premiership are of Scottish nationality? To the nearest 10%.
65.
You still left it at 60.
It's alright, nearest 10, I got it.
Well, because it's actually 55.
Oh, is it?
Aye, so you still left it at 60.
That's quite low, isn't it?
Unlucky, mate. Unlucky. Aye, 55% are Scottish. It goes down every year, doesn't it? I think it goes down every year. Right, okay. Chance to make it 2-1. Calum, it's just a wee bit.
Embarrass myself.
You're going to get 0 here because you're not going to get this, I don't think. Fashion Sakala will soon be making his transfer to Rangers, but what is his nationality?
Could not tell you for the life of me.
Do you want a fashion, I guess? Hey! You get it. Yeah. Thank you.
Very good.
God knows.
Do you know what, Div? It's your oh, shite, there's my phone away.
Put the phone away.
You want a fashion, I guess, as well?
I believe.
Didn't mean that a second time. I've ruined it.
African.
Yes. Big continent.
Yeah.
A lot of countries.
I don't think it's only the bigger countries. But, Jesus, I don't know. I'm just going to go with Nigeria.
Zambia is the answer. That's it there. Right.
Nigeria is one of the bigger countries, by the way, just in case I get pulled up for that.
Do you want to go, and this is where we need a wee bit of tense music. Go on. Would you like to risk it all to see who the winner is?
No.
We always do this. We always do this. Who's the winner, and then we just throw it up.
There's never a winner.
I know. There's no. It's just for a bit of fun. So then, tiebreaker question.
Right.
To see who wins today's first ever live studio TSF quiz.
Here we go.
How's it work? You go first.
Right.
The nearest wins. How many players currently play in the Scottish Premiership?
How many players
currently play in the Scottish Premiership? The nearest answer wins.
Okay. I'm going to go
let you think. Look, I'm thinking. Where's the cue ball guy? Dave is having a think here.
200.
Right.
And.
What's he going to say now?
20.
220. Right, okay. Cal.
Yeah.
How will you follow up on that answer?
260.
260. Okay.
I've been there now.
I can reveal that your winner of today's quiz is Calum Craig, because the correct answer is 318 players in the Scottish Premiership. There's Steph. Well done, Calum. Well done, mate. Congrats. Well done. 318.
Was my maths just totally off there? I was just doing 26 times 12.
You just thinking of Euro scores.
No, but you usually get about 26
I know 318 is a lot. So what's that divided by 12? So
that's probably counting all your youth players with professional contracts and all that,
perhaps. So 318 divided by 12, very quickly, just to do the maths, is 26 and a half.
So it was just my maths it was right. So it was just my maths it was right.
Superb. That does
I forgot you had a zero.
You forgot you had a zero, aye. That does it. That's the end of the show. We're at the end. I know. I don't wish I would have a cricket
noises. I've got to mute that.
Cricket noises. It's been good. I've really enjoyed this. It's brilliant.
I could get used to this, boys.
I could sit here all day just talking. Just honestly, just sit here, just talking absolute nonsense. But sadly, we've got editing to do and football to watch and other videos to make and all the rest of it. So we need to wrap up today's show around there. Div, any final words?
Yeah, just big thanks to our sponsor, G4
Yes, big thanks to G4 Claims. Hey, thank you.
They've really sorted the lads out. So
They have. And this, I'm looking at like the wee flip sides and the cameras and such, and I'm seeing.
Oh, well, that camera away.
Oh, that camera away. Well, I'll finish this off anyway. I'm looking at the cameras and such, and like, this quality is obscene. This is the beginning now, isn't it? This is it. Any final words for you, Cal?
No, I say just a big thanks to their sponsors.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us and they've kitted us out.
They have. And make sure to go and check out all the links to their stuff in the description below. You can go and check out G4 Claims for yourself for all your claiming needs. Does that sound right? Does that sound alright? Aye. Right, okay. Make sure to follow TSF on Twitter at TSF Podcast 1. Make sure to follow us on Instagram as well to get involved with all of our future shows. And make sure to hit like and subscribe. It's much appreciated. We'll see you all next time.